now that in the early years of the 20th century, this world was being watched.
Roger, copy. Eagle Houston, you're a go for landing, over.
Ventura Station. Unknown vessel approaching. We need first contact protocol.
Only named the next Mass Effect right now. Like, I'm not even sure if it'll be Mass Effect 4 or 5. It's kind of confusing. We've got another classic BioWare action RPG, and supposedly a follow-up after the last game. What we do know is that the new Mass Effect tasks you with reuniting a galaxy changed by the events of Mass Effect 3. It'll be a single-player game and coming to every gaming platform except Switch sometime next year. Dead Space Remake here now once again is destined to deliver another modern classic, and we couldn't be more excited about what Glenn Schofield has to offer this time around. In any case, Dead Space Remake is now releasing January 27 next year for the next generation of consoles and PCs only. Coming up behind that from a couple of months ago by the fine folks at Nuverse, we've got here what's called Earth Revival. This is a science fiction based open world survival multiplayer, but also a single player game with a campaign that actually takes place on a destroyed version of Earth from the 2012 incident. Something like that. This is how it really works. The game's on anticipated PCs only at the moment and set to be released by the end of 2023.
Solis, everything okay in there?
Now, moving on, we've got, some of you might remember this from last year, but just in case, one of the great people who previously worked on The Last of Us and another dude on Red Dead Redemption 2, these two have been technically teaming up and developing a third-person thriller, something called Fort Solis. Fort Solis, by the two-man developers, described as a space horror game taking cues from the Dead Space and the movie The Moon, albeit it is taking place on Mars. Check it out, games due out for PCs only, possibly by the end of this year.
Something is going on here. And I need to find out what it is.
At number 5, we've got the Callisto Protocol by the same dude behind Dead Space Remake, with the only difference that the game is going to be released in about a month from now instead of January next year. Guys, Callisto Protocol is a science fiction third-person horror game set in the year 2320. It's taking place on the Jupiter's moon on a prison colony. Check it out, game's going to be released for PCs and both generations of consoles December this year.
It's like someone's trying to cover up what's happening here. So what happened to the original colony?
Abandoned, along with the rest of Callisto.
They didn't have a clue what was going on.
number 6, we've got Dune Awakening. The first open world survival MMO Dune game that we came to understand plays to some extent like Mass Effect / Skyrim, but with a heavier focus on surviving. The game is going to be coming to PCs, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S, and it is only rumored to be released mid to late next year. Check it out in case you missed it.
I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear is gone, there will be nothing.
Tell me.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor will reportedly release, as previously stated, around March next year, and it's going to be released for PCs and the next generation of consoles only. It'll follow directly from the previous game. It is once again played in third person, and it is an exploration-based adventure. Moving on.
When you come.
Get that door closed now, Private. Close that gate. Nothing gets in here. Ray didn't make it.
At number 8, we've got, technically revealed at the Summer Game Festival earlier this year, a brand new Alien game titled Dark Descent. This is a single-player squad-based action shooter, probably a co-op, with a single-player campaign as well. Here's more of a cinematic trailer Focus Entertainment came up with, and the news that the game will arrive on the PlayStation 5, 4, Xbox consoles and PCs as well sometime next year.
And it found us first.
What the?
This wasn't human.
Retreat! Retreat! Willis! Open fire! Go! 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 Alvarez! Through that door! Hold that door, Sergeant! Son of a...
If you're not new to the famous Genshin Impact game, there is a lot of folks out there waiting for a spiritual successor to that game here called Honkai Star Rail. This is another open world, although turn-based role-playing game, which was revealed first around October last year. It is in development for PCs and the mobile devices as well, and it's going to be released around March next year.
You also have another option. If you want, you can leave with us. Sometimes we stop on other worlds, and we'll continue to do so.
It's empowering, looking out at a world from a window like this. But when you set foot on the planet itself, you realize how small and helpless you really are.
The Express has traveled world after world. We are merely passing travelers, witnesses to part of a grander story.
Our ancestors built the city, striving in the bitter snow to prolong our civilization. Even if this world is doomed to fall apart, we should allow humanity to pave the way to its final outcome.
It's like weaving brocade. You and I can only add one gold thread each time.
The most brilliant scientific minds of our time work to ensure our species can endure our upcoming challenges.
Moving on, we've got Evotinction. This is by Spikewave Games. I'd assume you'd be familiar with if you've ever heard about Sony's China Hero project from earlier this year. This game, however, is a stealth action inspired by the Metal Gear and some Watch Dogs and open world games. Evotinction was actually announced a few years ago. The game has been through some sort of development hell, but thankfully now back on its feet, and it's set to be released for PCs and the PlayStation consoles only, early to mid next year.
Has turned. on its creators.
At number 11, just a quick shout out if you're looking for a space-based shooter, first-person shooter. Boundary here is basically a multiplayer tactical, one of its own kind as a first, that actually offers zero-gravity fights with some amazing visuals for a multiplayer game. Check it out. Boundary is set to come out fully next year with a huge DLC to boot across PCs and PlayStation 4 as well.
Welcome to Constellation. We have a lot to talk about.
Starfield, on the other hand, is simply one of the most anticipated upcoming games within the gaming industry for next year. Hell, the foundation for this thing was set about 25 years ago, and ever since it's just being branched out. Starfield now, after numbers of delay, is due to release in 2023 early for PCs and Xbox Series X and S, eventually the PlayStation 5 as well, as an open world RPG just like Skyrim, albeit with a science fiction based premise.
Found something?
The new guy found it.
You dug up the artifact, right? That means you saw it. The visions?
The artifact you found appears to be one of many, scattered across the galaxy. If we can find more, we can unlock their secrets.
Beautiful, isn't it? The man who sold me this told me that it spoke to him.
Of course, the settled systems is full of groups with other priorities.
That's the Crimson Fleet!
Everybody get ready!
The fleet doesn't follow the rules. Agree to work for UCC Steph, and together we take down these cutthroat pirates.
We're not just here to shoot the bad guys. We're peacekeepers. We protect the people of the Free Star Collective.
When you sign up with the Crimson Fleet, no one quits. The only way out is death.
This is Kathy. Please come in.
Mission Opera has only one objective.
Bring the Arks and their revolutionary technology back home.
Coming up behind that, and by the same folks behind the 2018 Deliver Us the Moon, what we have here a new game in the making ever since, going by Deliver Us Mars. The game is on its way to consoles and PCs February 2nd next year. It was supposed to be released next month, but it's just got a delay, and yeah, the game is going to be released across all platforms except Switch. And to accompany the great news, he also came up with this.
I know I can do this. How does it come to this? Have
Having good intentions isn't hard, Kathy. The hard part is knowing the difference between what's right and what's wrong. We have to leave. I will not risk the success of this mission.
How do you stay strong through all of that? How do you stay...
Dad!
Good.
Alright guys, now, if Halo Infinite, well, from last year technically, and Bethesda's biggest project of all time, Starfield, just doesn't do justice for you because you're more into multiplayer style games but with the same aesthetic, well, what we have here, Earth from Another Sun, might just be the thing. Not really much to talk about here except the trailer does really speaks for itself, for its gameplay, and in case you're wondering, this game's a PC exclusive and due out fully worldwide around March next year.
We will resist till the end. We will defend our nation. We will fight for the homes of our people. We will engage those who wish us harm. We will battle on solid ground and among the stars. We will confront them on the mountains of Io. We will repel them in the craters of Eris. We will never capitulate. And even if the bulk of this star system were conquered...
Everspace 2 is currently available through Steam Early Access and Xbox Game Pass for $40. The full game releases for the PlayStation 4 sometime next year. Everspace is an open-world science fiction-based RPG inspired by Mass Effect, and this is the latest DLC update that actually hit the market this August. Check it out and make sure to stay tuned for that precise release date on Everspace 2. At number 16, we've got with another trailer here from a couple of days ago for Reverse Skies. Well, the news is that the game's early access phase is gonna hit Steam in about a month from now, and you can also wishlist the game as I'm speaking. For Reverse Skies is a first-person post-apocalyptic survival shooter in which you play the role of an airship captain and travel around the Earth mostly and do what you gotta do to survive. Check it out in case you missed it.
It was a simple perimeter scan, escorting resources. But we were ambushed by Kalan raiders. Fighters were no problem, but the missile frigates were a different story.
Blackbird Interactive finally went on and showed off a new trailer for Homeworld 3. This game was supposedly planned for a late 2022 release, but it is now delayed to the first half of 2023, and it's going to be coming to PCs only, on Steam and the Epic Game Store as well. This is the latest entry of a classic space strategy game series, in case you're new to it, and just so you could have a better time in case you do have a beefy phone, Homeworld first game just went on available on the Play Store for free. Check it out, in case you missed it.
Perfect for attacking capital ships. We protected the resources while they hauled in the goods, which meant we could roll out assault frigates.
Cleared hot. Let's take it to them. Stay on them. Break contact.
The raiders weren't pushovers, but command countered their hit-and-run tactics. The way their carrier exploded, beautiful. And we even grabbed a little souvenir. That missile frigate is ours now.
Remember, recruit, you're part of the Triple O now. Under the wings of the mightiest fleet the galaxy has ever seen.
And finally, at number 18, we've got Hubris. The game will now finally launch on desktop VR platforms December 7 this year, a little later than for Meta Quest 2 and the PlayStation VR 2 as well. Hubris, in case you are totally new to Subscribe Pass developers, as a VR action-adventure which is set in some science fiction universe where you take on the role of a recruit agent. But there is more. Actually, much more.